Tom, aka Gédéon. This is take 2, by the way. I wasn't recording the video. Grab yourself some refreshment. Thanks for coming to the tap room. We are going to be reviewing Zombiecide the RPG. And I think this thing is fabulous. Number one, we're going to be giving away a copy of this. So watch to the end. I'm going to give details on how you can win this very copy. We're going to be sending a copy out to one watcher. We're going to just pick a name by random and mail it out 7 days from the day this video pops. 7 days from the day I release this video on the internet. I will be choosing one name randomly and then contacting you and to get your address and mail this out to you. And hopefully you'll have it before Christmas. Little gift from Tabletop Tap Room to you. Enjoy, please enjoy. And so let's get right into the review. Number one, production values on this. Well, first of all, let's say if you haven't played Cool Mini or Not's Zombiecide games, they have a whole series of board games. You really need to check them out. The good wife and I went to a local game convention day, had RPGs and board games, and we played the fantasy Black Plague version of the board game and had a blast. So much so that we were like, we got to buy that. And we went out and bought it, and we played it with the kids, and they loved it. And it was a lot of fun. And I love the board game. Number one, it comes with a ton of miniatures, absolute ton of miniatures, which I'm like, oh, geez, I need to do a D&D game where it's like we're fighting a necromancer and like hordes of zombies. And I've already got a bunch of skeletons. So, I mean, I'm like, oh, we got to do a whole undead campaign in D&D with this. These miniatures are fabulous. So the board game is great. And this is the natural progression, and this actually has a little bit of hand in glove thing going on with the board game, because you get all the miniatures that you can use with this. You have tiles that you put together differently for different settings in the board game, different missions, and you can use them with this. I mean, totally use them with this. And so there's a little bit of hand and glove thing going on that Cool Mini has done. Very smart on their part. I think it's very, very smart. So automatically, if you say, let's try this, you've got support materials out there that you can purchase. And when I say you get a ton of minis in the box, it's really worth it. You get a ton of minis. So production values, Cool Mini or not, thumbs up to you, because this is a hardbound and it's stitched signatures. I don't know if you can see that in the can you see it right down in there? Stitch signatures, man. I love that. That's so durable. It's a signature of 16 pages. They've been stitched into the binding. The big criticism here, dude, you should have given us a ribbon. Like old-time Bibles had a ribbon in it for a bookmark. Give us the ribbon. We bookmark where we need to flip to quick on the quick. How hard would that have been to add a ribbon? It wouldn't have really jacked the price much. They should have done the ribbon. The other criticism, let's hit it now, blank space. You could have put charts here. You left it blank. Oh, well. It's not a huge, I wished you'd done it. It's not a big criticism. It's, end of the world. See what I did there? Criticism, but it would have been nice if you put the charts. You don't have to go flipping through the stinking book. Now, as to the rest of the book, the artwork here is just, it's full color throughout. Every page has got color on it. The artwork is a little cartoonish. You get in here, some things are a little bit cartoonish. Some of the scenes are absolutely fabulous, but a lot of the character artwork can be slightly on the cartoonish side. It's okay. So this is meant to be a fun game. This is not meant to be a serious game. This is, there's blood splatter here in layout all throughout the book. It's like Walking Dead with more splatter. It's meant to just be fun, beer and pretzels, get together with your friends, not take it too serious. So that's what it's meant to be. and I suspect that based off the fact that they have numerous other products out there with art, that some of this art might have been recycled. I suspect that. I don't know because I didn't buy any of the modern day board game products. I just got the fantasy, the Black Plague version. So I don't know, but I suspect that some of the artwork might have been recycled. That's okay, because there's just so much of it. It's like eye candy for your eyes. Now, again, they've done up a whole series of player characters, and like everybody's represented here: men, women, all colors, creeds, races are represented here, and special props to them for this. All right, so I love this guy in the wheelchair, and the reason for this is this is personal, as my mother's cousin is in a wheelchair, and I grew up with her and her mother babysitting me, and potty training me. So, when I look at my cousin and I interact with my cousin, I don't see a wheelchair. I just see my cousin. Yes, I see the wheelchair, but I don't. When I look at her, there's this thing that happens sometimes. That people look at somebody in a wheelchair, they just see the wheelchair. They just see the handicap. They don't see the person. And this is kind of a bugaboo for me. This is something that it's important to me. And so the game has been inclusive, and they're like, we're going to do the whole inclusivity thing and all races, creeds, colors, religions, whatever. Yes. But we're also going to include people who are otherly abled, and so here's a guy, and elsewhere there's a guy who's a paraplegic, not quad to be a little harder to play. He's a paraplegic. He's both his legs are amputated. So he's got 2 prosthetic legs. He's still a zombie hunter. And that artwork's a little bit later back here. It's not one of the characters. Now, these characters, you literally could just print this page, off and hand it out. It's got a lot of information here, and you would just add this over to the character sheet. And I think you could actually fudge and use this as a character sheet. But what's even cooler is Cool Mini or Not did a box set of all of these pre-gen characters. They did a box set of the minis of them. So a rarity in minis, if you're into collecting minis, is that you're going to have a really cool mini of a guy in a wheelchair, with 2 Uzis that I want to go buy that box set and have this character as a character in my sci-fi game. He's totally going to work as a character in my sci-fi game. And I'm like, I'm going to Bojack some of these minis for my sci-fi gaming, just because I think he's cool. So you have the pre-gen characters, then they have character generation. That immediately follows this, survivor creation. Now, here's the thing. I'm always pushing player characters to write a background, write a secret about their character that only they and I know, and come up with a character portrait. And so in my favorite RPG, I give away 3 experience points for those 3 things at character generation. You do those 3 things, so because it's always hard. I'd be like, all right, so get yourself a character portrait. Nobody bothers. Write a background. Nobody bothers. Very few people bother. Write a secret about your character. More people bother with that without pushing and prodding. So years ago, more than a decade now, we're talking like 15 years ago, I started this thing where here's 3 experience points. Go out and get a character portrait for your character. Write a background that roots him in the setting. That's important. Root the character in the setting. And, it's a little bit of work because not everybody's so into that particular setting like I am. And, write a secret about your character you and I know. And then I added a 4th thing, which was create an NPC contact that your character knows. Tell me how your character knows them. Just they don't have to write stats. Just write a little paragraph about that character contact. And I'm going to make some judgment calls on how likely that character really is to help you out. They might help you out. They might be able to give you information. They might not get, they might hassle you. Suppose it's a cop and you were a juvenile delinquent. So the cop is like, stay in school, get off the street. He has to hassle you. But you have a cop contact for your character. So I started doing that as well. Leverage the players. Let them create part of the setting by writing the NPC contact that their character has. And most people don't try to, I've got a wrench uncle and he gives me everything I want. Nobody does that, actually. They actually write really good NPCs. So what's cool about this is they have codified that whole writing the background. And how they've done that is this Survivor Prologues. And these Survivor Prologues are tables you roll on with 2 6-sided dice. And so here's some of the headings. Like A, when you first heard about the outbreak. And so you roll on this, and it might be on TV or online. Or it might be you recognize the pattern in the news about civil warfare in faraway countries. Or so it could different things. So you roll the result, write it down. Next, it's your first experience as a witness. What happened? And let's pick one here. You killed someone when you saw the corpse getting up and it tried to attack you. You were shopping at the mall when the crowd started screaming about a possible terrorist attack. At least you were able to grab lots of supplies. You looted the mall. So C, your first Zombiecide, your baptism by fire. And you'll roll on that. Next, what happened to your significant others? Choose between parents, children, lover, etc. What you took with you, what you could not leave behind. So it could be religious symbol, favorite music, best pair of boots, and my personal favorite here is a bottle of hand sanitizer, because zombie killing is a messy business. And I'm like, I want hand sanitizer. I'm going to role play my character cleaning his hands after every Zombiecide. 2 more, and what you left behind, what you regret losing, like your best friend, your dog, your secret lover, a whole bunch of different things here. How you met other survivors, and so this is not the you meet in a tavern. It's such a classic cliche. So you roll on these tables. So if you're not the creative person who is inclined to write an in-depth background, you literally could just roll these tables, write the information down. That's your background. And yet, if you're that creative person who likes writing backgrounds, you can roll these tables. You're going to get a bunch of random results. It becomes fodder to get you thinking creatively to write about your character, because you're going to incorporate all of these into what you write as a background. So I love this because this is not a serious game. This helps you just get very little effort. You're just rolling on table A through G and getting these results. And it allows you to add a little bit more flavor to the game, because nobody's going to be that serious about they realize this is a fun game, not a serious game. I'm not going to invest that much into creating this survivor. So these tables give you that. I think that's fabulous. You get into the survival guide that tells you how to do combat, survival actions, background actions. We won't go into that. It's all basic RPG stuff. And then they do something cute. In RPGs, we have what we call session 0, where you talk about expectations, create characters, all of that. They call it session Z. See what they did there? So Session Z is only really one page here of information. And then they get into playing the game, talking about dice pools, some of the main rules, actions, tons of artwork all throughout. Look at this stuff. And more blood spatter over here under the dog. Oops. And, just the zombies are gruesome, absolutely gruesome. I mean, look at her. I mean, she's ugly. I want to run away. And, the survivors are cool. I mean, how cool is this guy? He's got that trench coat and the shotgun thing going on, and unshaved. So I'm like down with that. He looks cool. Now the game is laid out into two phases. You have your shelter phase and your mission phase, and this is really nothing new. This is basic Dungeons and Dragons, going right back to Keep on the Borderlands. And I say that because those classic modules, Village of Hamlet, Keep on the Borderlands, I think L1, the L1 module, classic AD&D module from Lakofka. They had the village. They had the strategic environment, the Keep on the Borderlands, where you could go, rest up, heal up, equip up, go. We had to run away from an undead thing because we didn't have a weapon that could wound it. So let's get some silver arrows. Let's get some silver daggers. Let's go buy that stuff before we go back to the Caves of Chaos. Let's buy some more arrows. We shot a lot of arrows. We're going to buy up some arrows. We need to buy up some more food. You do all of that in the strategic environment, which was the keep. And you have your shelter phase, and that's where you do your healing up and your gearing up, and you pick your team. And so if you're just having a group of friends over for beer and pretzels gaming, and somebody doesn't show up, then his character doesn't go on the mission. It's just really that simple. You take who's there, maybe an NPC or two, and go on the mission. And so they've codified into this the mission phase, and it's nothing new. We've all seen that before. It's pretty straightforward. Then you do the mission phase. Now the mission phase for this is, again, it's nothing new, but what they've done is they've done a city map. So what they've done for their missions is they've done this is the chapter, the World of Zombiecide, and again, look, great, right across the bleed, right across the gutter. Artwork, just introducing these major chapters. It's gorgeous stuff. And so they do this generic city, all these different zones. Each zone's got a different character. So the city map is downtown, old town, fun zone, which is arcades, movies, that kind of thing. University district, heart of the city, the slums, suburbia, uptown, and industrial park. And each of those is different. Each of those plays a little differently. And then you have this whole suite of missions, going to rescue somebody, supply run, scouting a new shelter, just a whole suite of missions. So you matrix those by all of these missions can be played in all of these different various things. So you've got a lot of variety that is possible for the game without having to write up modules, without having to write an adventure. You're just going to, you can just dice for what section of town, what mission. You then dice for the threat level. So it could be, it's from 0 right up to 4, which is Nightmare City, just like massive zombies. So, there's a lot of variety that is possible for the missions. When I look at some of these maps for some of these missions, I'm totally seeing, you totally can build that right out of the map tiles that come with the box set. I can't use the map tiles that I have because they're for the fantasy, so they don't really match this. But if you buy the modern version of the board game, you're going to have those map tiles that you totally lay out on the table for the mission that you're running. You just arrange them to match the mission map, the sample mission maps that they've given here, and sooner or later you'll just be playing with the tiles and putting together mission maps that don't match the sample one, but are just what you think would be really cool. And so that's really smart on Cool Mini or Not's side. That's a real smart move, because you're leveraging that board game. You're using all those miniatures. You're leveraging the map tiles. The board game is a ton of fun. I mean, we've enjoyed the board game, the good wife and I. We went to a local games day, you know, RPGs and board games, and we sat in on Zombiecide and had a blast. Went out and bought the game, have played with the kids. It's great. So I'm a big fan of the board game, and the RPG is set up smart to leverage the board game. So when you get this, you're getting a lot of support in the fact that there's support materials already in existence. They didn't have to develop. And so a lot of variety is possible. And just to want to back up now to the Zombiepedia. Now, the board game comes with numerous enemies. The walkers and the runners, the fatties, the abomination. In the fantasy game, you also have the necromancers. I don't know what the necromancer role is in the modern, if they have that. So you've got these to start with, and you're familiar with them from the board game. But then they turn the page, and you've got mutated zombies, and you got a whole cast of characters here. Your berserker zombie, your toxic zombie, your seeker walker, your Skinner zombies, and then they do you got to have them. Zombie animals, crows, dogs, rats, you were expecting those for a major city. Based off of these, you could totally work up stats for a zombie sewer alligator. You know, why not? You happen to be hitting the fun zone, and there's the zoo is there. So why not a zombie lion? You work up the stats for that. Very easy. So it's a healthy Zombiepedia of zombies for you to face. But not only that, and that's the next chapter is then the NPC opposition, the other groups that you're going to run into, who are going to be like, no, we don't want to share life. We don't want to trade with you. We just want to take your stuff, some of them. So then they have a whole chapter on the NPC opposition, which are going to be smarter than the zombies. So it's not just let's go out and hose zombies. You know, you might run into intelligent opposition. It's going to give the player characters some pushback. So it's a simple game. It's not complicated. The rule system is not D20. It's 2D6. And when I say 2D6, I do not mean Cepheus Engine. I mean a 2D6 that I haven't seen in a while. I saw it first at my wargaming club when I first joined. I walked in, and I'm like looking at this massive 12-foot table by 4-foot. Local history teacher at the local high school had a massive collection of Napoleonics in 15 millimeter. And I was just, and they're like, hey, you want to sit in? I'm like, I don't know how to play. And they're like, doesn't matter. Just here's 2 regiments of cavalry. Go ahead and push those. And I had a blast. But the 2D6 system is where you roll. I believe this system was cobbled together for miniatures from a boxed die-cut counter war game, one of those Avalon Hill jobs. And so they cobbled it together to run Napoleonics, and the club really liked it. So we just sat in, and I really didn't have to know the rules. It was just they'd say roll, you roll, they read on the table, this is the result from that combat. And that's this system. You're rolling 1d6 as the first digit. You roll another d6 as the second digit, and you consult the table, and you get a result. And that's how it plays. And there are dice pools, and so that's how the game plays. I like it. A few minor nitpicky criticisms of it, but it's just well done, layout wise, production values, it's well made. It's eye candy for your eye. Every page, there's just color everywhere, illustrations every single page. There's just illustrations everywhere. So it's awesome. It's a well done game. So I like it. Highly recommend it. Now, how do you get this copy? You get this copy by watching the video and giving us a thumbs up. Make a comment below. From the comments below on this video, I'm going to pick one of you randomly. We're going to just make a table. So if you make multiple, get a random number generator online and just say, all right, here's this is the number. So pick a random number between 1 and 296, if that's how many comments we get. And so we will just pick one randomly. And then for me to be able to contact you, I need you to go to the Facebook page for Tabletop Tap Room and make a comment there on the post for this video. So that way I'll then, so if your handle on YouTube is different than your handle on Facebook, just go make the comment saying such and such, commenting, put your YouTube handle so I can go then look and track down who you are, do an instant message, and we'll exchange information so I can then mail this to you, and you'll hopefully have it before Christmas. I'll send it out priority mail and try to get it there quick, and pray to God that the post office doesn't lose it, right? So do the tracking number and a little bit of insurance. So yeah, give us a thumbs up, make a comment below, then click on the link in the show notes that takes you to the YouTube page, and leave a comment there so I can then track you down if you're chosen, and get your information so I can mail it out to you. And that's it. You're in the running to win this. This a great RPG. I think it's a great RPG. And if you like Walking Dead, this genre, you're going to love this. I think you're going to love this. And if nothing else, it's just great to look at. So much color, just so much there for your eyes to feast on. You're going to love this. So thanks for watching. Go ahead, hit that bell icon, hit the subscribe, hit the like, help us out with the YouTube algorithm. And whichever one of you wins this, enjoy. You'll be bashing zombie brains by the new year. So thanks for watching. Tom again from Tabletop Tap Room. Keep on gaming.